I thought Muslims was the religion of peace.
Man, what are you talking about?
That's what I hear.
Yeah. It's funny because, we had Bassem Youssef on a podcast, and he's defending Palestine because his wife's family is from Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he escaped Egypt because they didn't like what he was saying, and then they kicked him out because he was the most viewed guy on television, 40 million viewers a week.
Wow.
And then we had him on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and him and Adam went at it. Adam's obviously a Jew who has been to Israel God knows how many times, and Bassem Youssef is from Egypt. His wife's from Palestine, so he's defending that argument.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so this is the biggest thing that's interesting between the two communities. The Muslim community who defends Islam,
Mm-hmm.
they are so, what's the word I'm looking for? Maniacal on correcting you and defending their religion, and lack of understanding on why the other person feels that way and believes that way.
Mm-hmm.
And many of the Israelis, many of the Jews, or folks that maybe defend them are kind of quiet, and they're scared to be a little bit more vocal.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, man, I don't want to fight this fight. I don't want to fight this fight. Now, both sides can make their argument. No one wins the argument with Hamas. You're just not going to win that argument. Even if you're a Muslim or you're one of these guys that gays for, Palestine or, whatever, all these guys for, go ahead and be gay in Palestine and see what happens to you. That'll be a great case study.
Mm-hmm.
And you just need a one-way flight. You don't need to buy a round trip because you'll never see, America ever again.
Mm-hmm.
But in Iran, man, it was a very scary type of an environment when you're living there. Mm-hmm. And then eventually my mom, I was turning 12 years old. I'm 10 at the time. She says to my dad, we can't let him stay here. And so we had to escape. We didn't have a green card to come to America, but we went to Germany. We lived at a refugee camp there for a year and a half in a city called Erlangen.
What was that like?
It was actually awesome.
Yeah?
I had a great time. Everybody was poor. Mm-hmm. Nobody had money. Mm-hmm. Everyone's escaping socialism, communism, dictatorship. You're from Poland. You're from Bosnia. You're from Yugoslavia.
You're Christian.
Yeah, you're Christian. You're this, you're that. But everybody is trying to get away. And by the way, at the camp, we also had Muslims escaping Afghanistan. We had people that were, Muslims not wanting to be the country that we're a part of. Mm-hmm. And so Czechoslovakians. And at that time, it was a fast course of learning about everyone's culture, ethnicity, and we have nothing. No one has any money. So there is no posturing. You're broke, I'm broke, you're broke, dude, let's just go have dinner together with broke food. And then they would put the apple juice on the corner, you would go grab it, you'd come in, and it was a great experience. I learned to hustle in Germany. Germany is the first time I learned how to make money on my own because we had no money. So I would go out there and I would recycle beer bottles at the local swimming pool. That's how I bought my Super Mario Brothers, Super Nintendo 2 that was coming out. And I brought Super Nintendo 2 back to this, camp. And then I dated this girl named Katarina Staff. Her older brother, Jan, was my best friend. So he would play video games, and I would go with this one building, 3-story building that they had not finished. And it was a great place to hide and go play. It was a great time. And it was right next to a military base. So we would go and look at the army base, and it would blow stuff up. It was a fantastic experience, year and a half.
But that refugee camp, it was people from all walks
all
of life.
Walks of life.
Everything.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was a crash course on human nature at an age of 10 to 12.
Yeah. That's why a lot of people get things wrong. They think they take a religion, they just take on the bad, and they don't look at the good. Like a lot of people say Muslims are, radical, but you had a lot of good experience with Muslims when you was at that refugee camp.
Oh, I mean, I had good and bad. I got stabbed by a guy that was Muslim, and one of the guys who was Muslim was one of my good friends. Would hang out in Iran. Same thing. By the way, majority of my experiences with people who are Muslim has been good. Majority, and when I say majority, I mean 90% has been a great experience for me. Not in Iran, but in the U.S. and living in Germany at the refugee camp. But unfortunately, it doesn't take many to hurt the reputation of anybody.
Right.